Now, as promised, we welcome in the first guest of day number 2. He is Willie Fritz. He is new to the University of Houston after an outstanding run at Tulane University, where he won 11 games and 12 games in that order. Coach Fritz, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
As you venture into Power 5 football. And
Power 4.
Sorry, Power 4. That's right. I'm still trying to get used to that. Power 4 football, because that's the new reality. As you venture in, the American's a great football conference. How much different or what the level of, or do you expect the level of football to be in the Big 12 compared to what you faced in the American?
You know, we've played some teams from, Power 4 leagues at Tulane over the years, but, just overall more depth, taller, longer, faster guys, just more of them, I've been very impressed with the talent level. I've had a chance to watch everybody a few times and mostly against Houston, and Houston didn't play him. I watched him against some other people, and it's a great league. I agree with the commissioner. I think it's, I don't see why this can't be, the top conference in the nation. I really believe that. It's you got it from, a lot of teams. I counted it up. I think we're playing 7 schools have been ranked in different preseason top 25s. So it's going to be a very competitive schedule.
Some of the first-year coaches that we had spoken to yesterday at the current university or on the current team said they had some surprises when they got to the team, just about culture, maybe the lack of accountability. Is there anything that surprised you when you got to Houston?
Well, it's like that every time you take over a new program. After I'd been at Tulane for 8 years, and it took a little while to get that culture established. They hadn't had a whole lot of tradition of winning consistently over the years, and I came into Houston, and when you're doing things differently than your predecessor, it's going to be different for the young men. But our guys really embraced change. I had very few issues or problems. It was a fun spring. I told them all, I'm going to treat you like how you show me I should treat you.
Right.
You act like a good guy, I'm going to think you're a good guy. You act like a turd, I'm going to think you're a turd. And they got a kick out of it too. But we've really enjoyed our 6 months at University of Houston, and the culture, I think, is something you just got to do day after day after day, and it takes a little while to establish.
Right.
Well, and it's not like you haven't encountered a difficult situation at some point in your coaching career. I'm going to go back to Blinn College, Coach.
That's a long time ago.
Hey, but it was so good that we need to bring it up because you inherited a program that in its previous 3 seasons had gone 5-24-1. Not good. Then all you do is turn it around and go 39-5-1. You turn into a national junior college power. What can you take from that experience that can translate into Power 4 football?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. Junior college, the guys don't have the portal, and at that time they weren't going from place to place and things like that. And and they were 2-year guys. So after you got your first class in, you were even with everybody. So quite a bit different from 93 through 96 to 2024 right now. So, but it's just, doing things consistently day after day after day. I think what's helped me, on my path as a head coach is being the head coach at Blinn. I was also the athletic trainer. I taped the ankles. I was a D coordinator. I coached all 11 on defense. I was a special teams coordinator, head coach.
Were you giving Toradol shots before the game?
Not then. No, we didn't. But there's a deal called DMSO back then. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, I've heard of it.
But, it was just I enrolled, advised, scheduled student athletes, for 14 years. So I think it helps me get a program going a little bit quicker because I know a little bit about everybody's job, all the support staff, and I also admire all the things they do because I had to do it. I used to have to diesel fields. Have you ever heard of that before? You would diesel it and keep the lines because we couldn't afford to paint the lines. and we didn't have the money to buy the paint, so it's illegal to do that now.
Austin, this has been your life, and it goes back to your days at Pittsburgh State, Coach.
Yeah.
Austin, this man played defensive back and was awesome. Was also the point guard on the basketball team.
Yeah.
The guy does it all.
Homework.
This has been your story arc. Like, you're a man of versatility.
I went back. We had a big reunion with all my teammates at Pittsburgh State about 2 weeks ago. And, boy, we've all gotten better. It's incredible how good we've gotten. I heard a guy talking about all these sacks he had. I didn't think he played, but maybe he did.
We've all gotten better. I love it. Isn't that kind of how it works, though, right?
Yeah,
you get back with the guys, and you're just like, you remember when? It's always a remember when, right?
Yeah.
I think Coach Fritz, given the success that he's had and given the success that we've seen, at Blinn College, Tulane, right? I think it's safe to say he's the new Chip and Joanna Gaines, the fixer-upper of football programs. You've been coaching since 1982?
My first season was 82, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The game has changed, especially on the recruiting side, okay? The transfer portal. Are you a fan?
I've had a couple people ask me that question. It doesn't really matter what Willie Fritz thinks about it. You got to adapt and improvise and go with it. And how does it help Houston? That's what I'm worried about. And a lot of people are concerned about the rules and how they should change them. And they're not going to ask my opinion. It doesn't matter. When they tell me what the rules are, I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Sure.
I think it's a good thing for some kids, and some kids it may not be a good thing for. But like I always tell them, you can only go to one homecoming. You can't go to two, right?
That's exactly right.
He's full of wisdom. Willie Fritz, the head coach of Houston football, is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk expectations. Again, you come in, and I'm sure that the administration and the fan base naturally is like, okay, well, we're not expecting you to win a championship in year one. So how do you manage expectations when you're picked 15th and you do take over a program that needs some polishing up?
Well, I come back to being consistent, day after day after day. I've had a slogan that a lot of people use now since the 90s, 1-0. And we want to go 1-0 every single day, and I told the kids at Houston we're going to break down and do 1-0. And I said, I know you think that I'm copying somebody. I did this a long time ago with it, but it just being your best every single day and then understanding what your strengths are, and trying to make sure you accent that and staying away from your weaknesses, I think that's what I've evolved to as a head coach. I still, work heavily with the kicking game, but I try to help my coaches, this guy should be playing more than this guy. This guy can do this, he can't do this. So quit having him do this. And sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, right? You don't, the coaches don't see that exactly. And I think that's where I can help them. And that's what we got to understand, the first 2 or 3 weeks is what are our guys good at? And we're going to play a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I don't tackle much in spring football or preseason camp, so we're gonna play a lot of guys, and we're gonna see how many reps guys are gonna get, come week 3. This guy may have only gotten 20, and now he's getting 60. So that's part of my job as a head coach.
What are your strengths right now as a team? What do you feel confident in that you know?
I like my quarterback. I really do. He was injured and didn't go through spring ball. He had a good season last year for the University of Houston. He's he's a big guy. His dad's the running back coach for the Indianapolis Colts.
And speaking of Donovan Smith, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Donovan Smith. His dad has been there for a while. He's from Las Vegas. He played at Gorman High School. But he had a labrum injury with about 3 weeks to go in the season, played through the rest of the year. I kept him out of spring ball. But something that was interesting was, we've got the sideline to helmet communication. So he couldn't go through things, but I would have the script. And he and I would talk about what was going on out there on the play that was called. And he'd go through his progressions, what he was reading, what he was looking at. And I was just very impressed with his football IQ and just the leadership that he showed with all the guys. And now he's fully healthy and just got back going to the old Manning Passing Academy. And Archie texted me and told me he did a heck of a job. So he's a guy that I think is going to, people may be unaware of, but I think he's going to have a great season for us.
Outstanding. Well, we'll finish with this. You get BYU in the season finale in Provo in late November. What's your perception and understanding of the state of BYU football at this juncture?
I've never been there and played before, and
you're in for a treat, Coach.
I've heard it's something else. I heard that the venue is incredible. It's beautiful, and
apparently we have the nicest fan base alive, which I don't know. That doesn't make me too happy to hear that. I mean, I like a hostile environment.
You're being sarcastic. I take it, but yeah, we're really looking forward to it. I like going to places that I haven't played before. I've been up in that area and played at Eastern Washington and Montana State, and not too far away from y'all, but yeah, it'll be fun to see that great stadium where it's at and the great tradition that BYU's had.
Great to talk with you, Coach. Great way to kick this thing off on day 2 for us. We appreciate you spending some time with us. And we needed to have a dual sports star on the show to get things going on.
I mean, exactly, right? I mean, Deion's got nothing on this guy. Prime's got nothing on him.
He was trying to get me on that one deal. You weren't getting me on that.
How many points did you average at Pittsburgh State? Do you remember that?
You're talking about in basketball?
Yeah,
football?
In basketball.
I had a triple single. Is what
triple single.
Oh, I love it. Respect nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Coach, you're awesome. Thanks so much for the time.
Coach.
Appreciate it.